The UN says close to 9 million people in Syria had been affected by the quake, appealing for critical funding to respond to the most pressing humanitarian needs over the next 3 months.
Today, I'm announcing that the United Nations is launching a $397 million humanitarian appeal for the people of earthquake-ravaged Syria. And this will cover a period of 3 months. We are in the final stages of a similar appeal for Türkiye. In the immediate aftermath of the earthquakes, the United Nations rapidly provided $50 million through the Central Emergency Response Fund. But the needs are immense. The Syria effort brings together the entire UN system and humanitarian partners, and will help secure desperately needed life-saving relief for nearly 5 million Syrians, including shelter, healthcare, food and protection.
Guterres acknowledged that life-saving aid had not been getting into Syria at the speed and scale required, calling the breadth of this disaster one of the worst in recent memory, including in Türkiye, where combined more than 37,000 people had died.
1 week after the devastating earthquakes, millions of people across the region are struggling for survival, homeless, and in freezing temperatures. We are doing all we can to change this, but much more is needed. And I have an urgent message to the international community. The human suffering from this epic natural disaster should not be made even worse by man-made obstacles. Access, funding, supplies. Aid must get through from all sides to all sides through all routes without any restrictions.
The single Bab al-Hawa crossing is now complemented by 2 additional crossings at Bab al-Salam and al-Ra'i after an agreement between the UN Secretariat and the Syrian government, just as the UN Security Council was weighing a resolution to demand additional crossings.
The 2 crossings are open, movement is taking place, and we'll see. Of course, if the situation would change, we would adopt the necessary measures, but as I said, the crossings are open and goods are flowing. Our position is very clear. All forms of access should be open without restrictions.
The UN says the earthquake hit when humanitarian needs in the region were already at its highest level since the civil war began almost 12 years ago. The world body confirming that 11 trucks with relief supplies had already gone through the newly opened border crossing at Bab al-Salam, carrying non-food items such as blankets, jerry cans and mattresses into Syria. More broadly, some 26 million people across both countries need help. In Türkiye, an estimated 1 million people had lost their homes, while some 80,000 are in hospital, placing a huge strain on that country's health system, as the UN now appeals for the initial funding required to meet the desperate needs emanating from this generational disaster. Sherman Bryceby's SABC News, New York.